Tomb Chapel of Nakht, number 52. Nakht excavated his tomb at the Shikabd El Kurna Cemetery's lower enclosure section. Even though it is small, it is regarded as one of the most well-known noble tombs in the area because of the beautiful scenes with vivid colors, many of which are reminiscent of those scenes on the walls of the transverse hall of Mena's former tomb chapel. He most likely lived during Thutmose IV's reign. Nakht was known by the titles of Amun's astrologer and scribe. The tomb's general design was based on an 18th dynasty noble's tomb plan. However, it should be noted that the transverse hall of this tomb has significantly deviated from the tomb's axis, possibly as a result of the low-quality rock. The long passage is nearly square in shape, and a well that leads to the burial chamber has been cut inside of it. As we enter the chapel's transverse hall, which is the sole area decorated with scenes, we can see on the wall to the left of the entry Nakht and his wife pouring aromatic oils on the offerings and him overseeing the agricultural work. The field is plowed, the wheat is harvested, it is packed in a net for transportation, it is winnowed, and it is measured out. The elderly man, bottom right, with shaggy hair and his ox bending over the plow's yoke is what attracts notice. An agricultural laborer is seen below left, sipping water from a waterskin that is hanging from a tree branch. A false door with double scenes of some of the offering bearers, 3 on each side, can be seen on the narrow wall to the left. At the bottom of the door is another scene featuring 2 goddesses holding a group of different offerings in the center of them. The artist distinguished between each goddess who assumed a human form by positioning the tree symbol above the head, possibly to represent the tree goddess, or Nud, the goddess. About the wall that faces left, we can make out the ruins of a happy banquet scene where both sexes were present and a blind man was entertaining them with a harp performance while seated on a blue mat. Behind him 6 girls, served by a maid who was entirely nude, and they engaging in a variety of talks, listening to music, offering mandrakes, and sniffing flowers. A group of men are seated on chairs beneath the scene to the left, each one is sniffing flowers, in front of them a set of offerings. They are enjoying the music of the well-known musical group in the middle, which comprises of 3 girls. This is the most well-known scene in the tomb. The first performs on the long harp, the second, although fully nude except scanty belt or chain of beads round the hips, plays the lute and dances vivaciously and dynamically, and the third, blowing on a double reed pipe. It is also important to observe the patterns of clothing, toiletries, and perfume cones placed on the heads, which were desirable at such parties. Then there's a scene to the right where the dead and his wife are seated in front of the offerings. Here, the beautiful cat which represents the god Re in Heliopolis is sitting beneath his deceased master's chair, hungrily consuming a fish that was thrown to him. The fish represents the evil god Seth. The cat holds the fish between his claws, with his back bent, which adds liveliness to his appearance. Now that we move to the other side of the transverse hall, we can see the scenes shown on the right side of the entrance wall, where the deceased and his wife are seen pouring the offerings in aromatic oils. The scene is not complete, and there is a group of offering carriers. The offering bearers and priests are located against the small wall on the right. The most significant scenes in this chapel are then displayed on the right-hand wall that is facing inside. In the middle, men are picking grapes from one of the arbors in the vineyard, tramping on the grapes with their feet, and we can see the juice running from a gutter into a little basin so that an employee can fill the jars that are piled on top. Below this scene, we can observe a hunting net, trap, full of wild birds that have been drawn from the thicket of papyrus in order to capture the catch. One man is cleaning the birds while the other is removing their feather. To the right, there are the 2 well-known hunting scenes. The first, far right, shows the dead man standing inside a papyrus boat, catching fish with a spear to the right, which the artist forgot to draw, and the second, left, shows him hunting birds with a curved boomerang stick to the left. 2 women are with him, one sitting, the other standing, and his young son is in front of him, holding a curved boomerang stick in one hand, just like his father, and one of the birds that fell while casting in the other. We walk inside the long hall, which is actually an almost square chamber with unfinished work in it. A well that leads to the burial chamber is located inside of it. We can also make out the statue's niche at the end. It presently has an identical replica of the little statue that was discovered within, showing the deceased kneeling and holding a stela that contains a record of a hymn to the deity Re. When the ship Arabic was struck with a torpedo in the Irish Sea in World War I in 1915 while en route to New York, the original statue sank along with it.